Welcome to One Man's Opinion. Today I am reviewing a contemporary theater of Connecticut's production of $1 Million Quartet, written by Colin, Escott, and Floyd Mutrux, originally conceived and directed by Floyd Mutrux, inspired by Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Carl Perkins. This production is directed by Hunter Foster, yes, the Hunter Foster of Urinetown fame, and the show has been extended from March 17th to March 23rd, adding 4 more performances between March 21st and 23rd at their theater at 26 Old Quarry Road in Ridgefield, Connecticut. Help me break some personal records by becoming a patron on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can support my projects, including this show and my Spotify podcast, Yesterday's Matinee. Also, I have a drawing that expires at the end of February 29th for a +1 ticket to join me to see Doubts on Broadway. Details are on the Patreon page, but of course, you have to be a patron to read it. So go support my channel. A link will be in the description. So, 2 in a row, The Legend of Georgia McBride and $1 Million Quartet, which I saw the same day. Both shows are shows that I've been burned out on over the last few years, having reviewed it 4 times, I think, over the last 7 years. Again, like Georgia McBride, which I discussed last episode, I didn't need another production of this. It's an entertaining show that's a bit more affordable to do because it has a small cast and you don't need to hire a band because the actors play the instruments, and it has a single static set. But like Georgia McBride, I'm done with reviewing this show for a few years. Still, aside from a few issues, Hunter Foster has put together a highly energetic production with mostly electric performances. The musical is inspired by a real-life event where Sun Records producer Sam Phillips, played by Bart Shatto, brought together acclaimed artists Carl Perkins, played by Christopher Wren, Johnny Cash, played by Scott Moreau, Jerry Lee Lewis, played by Nat Zegree, and Elvis Presley, played by Alessandro Gian Viviano, for the day at Sun Records Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. Elvis, who is feeling a bit nostalgic, is visiting Sun Records with his girlfriend Dyanne, played by Reinking. Elvis has left Sun to sign with RCA, which did happen. He signed with RCA in 1955. Sam is looking to negotiate a new contract with Johnny Cash, who, unbeknownst to Sam, has already signed a contract with Columbia, which wasn't true at this point in history. The musical is set on December 4th, 1956, when the gathering of artists actually happened. Cash's contract ends at the end of the year, according to the musical, and that is too early. Cash doesn't join Columbia for real until 1958. Carl Perkins, his star is starting to dim, while Jerry Lee Lewis's is about to skyrocket, and the two egos create a bit of conflict throughout the show. What I like musically about $1 Million Quartet is that, though for the most part the songs are not the actual songs they performed that day, the songs are, again for the most part, songs that the artists had either released or were likely working on at the time. An audience isn't going to likely recognize songs like Keeper of the Key, Don't Forbid Me, or Is It So Strange, but they will recognize Blue Suede Shoes, Folsom Prison Blues, and Great Balls of Fire. The foursome as a cast has its strengths and its weaknesses. All 4 actors have played their respective characters numerous times, making it seem like they have made a career playing them, and they are very comfortable with the vocals for this show. The thing is, some of them have really gotten comfortable with the roles and elevated them, while others seem to have become a little too comfortable in their roles. Christopher Wren and Nat Zegree make a great duo as they go back and forth from antagonizing each other to jamming with each other with dazzling precision. Nat Zegree, in particular, who is also the show's music director, gives a mind-blowing performance, 1 part Harpo Marx and 1 part Chris Kattan. His energy is explosive, and he, along with bassist brother Jay, played by Nathan Yates Douglas, and drummer Fluke, played by Matt Spencer, give the fastest performance you will ever see of Johnny O'Keefe's Wild One, also known as Real Wild Child, something that Jerry Lee Lewis will actually record within the next couple years and later release in the 1970s. There are also the little things Nat does to tease the other artists and annoy Sam Phillips at the piano as Jerry Lee Lewis. His performance, and to a little lesser degree Christopher Wren, are the highlights of the show. Meanwhile, Alessandro Gian Viviano's Elvis hangs around in a more stock representation of the legend and feels more mimicry than actually embodying him. And Scott Moreau looks like he had an off night when I was in attendance. I saw him as Johnny Cash a few months ago in Million Dollar Quartet Christmas over at Iverson Playhouse, and he had a lot more energy in that production, I felt. Here he seems a bit bored. He's played the role over 1,200 times at this point in his career. I get it, but I want a little more fun in the musical numbers from him. Sure, when he's not performing, he's got to be a little awkward as he is keeping a secret from Sam, but I wanted to see the Man in Black's rebel attitude on stage. Josh Smith's scenic design is awesome. He has put 2 back rooms upstage, one which is an entryway to the studio, and a room where the soundboard and mixer is, where the engineer would be. The windows that the audience see through allow for depth and dimension of the environment. I would have liked to have had the alleyway where the couple of side scenes happen be placed extreme stage left or right and not down center, where it overlays the scene continuing behind it. Million Dollar Quartet doesn't have a lot of plot. It's more like window dressing to give a little bit of conflict to the story. The show is more about celebrating the music of 4 icons of the music world in the 1950s. People will clap their hands, tap their feet, and stand up and cheer to hits like Folsom Prison Blues, Matchbox, Hound Dog, and a whole lot of shaking going on, regardless of how the performers are performing that day. And that's really what people want anyway. But I'm only one man's opinion, so be sure to leave yours in the comments below. If you'd like to see Million Dollar Quartet, I'll leave a link in the description. Also in the description will be a link to my Patreon page, so be sure to visit there as well. You can also support my channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and click the notification bell to be alerted to future reviews. My next review will be Classic Stage Company's production of Pericles. Thank you for watching, and I will see you at the theater.